Let me go back to the Spur 330 highway. What's the latest completion date for the existing work that's going
The
on?
existing work should be done within the next 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
They are very far along on the project. The contract that they have let is has performance bonuses in it, I understand, and the contractor's making very good progress on it. The next phase that we are attempting to get funding on, we're doing it through two routes. One is we are impressing upon the government that this flyover that I'm talking about, that would go from I guess 146 southbound on to 330 westbound, will help with hurricane evacuation, because right now you have to exit off of 146, stop at Garth, stop at the main lanes of 330, and then stop one more time before you actually get on the freeway portion of 330. So we've got a built-in bottleneck when we have to try to evacuate folks out 330. So we are emphasizing that it's used as a hurricane evacuation route, in asking for IC relief funds that we can put in infrastructure. The second way we're approaching it is asking for economic stimulus funds on it. It is a project where we don't have to acquire any more right-of-way. It is already stubbed out at both ends, and the TxDOT has agreed to pay for the engineering for the project. So there's very little that needs to be done before we're ready to go on that. All we need is construction funds of about $11.5 million.
That's great news, and I'm glad that you continue to, as you may remember, Mr. Mayor, that one of the reasons that we went ahead and justified that was for hurricane evacuation.
Absolutely.
Right, so I'm very
Still crucial.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, let me ask you now on is the mayor job pretty well what you expected, Mayor?
Well, Mayor, as you well know, there's a lot more to it than be honest with you, than I thought. From a standpoint of a city councilman, which I was during the 3 terms in the 90s, I came to meetings pretty well. And my observation of the mayor was that he ran the council meetings and handled some of the ribbon cuttings and such. But I'm finding that with a city of our size, as you well know, and didn't tell me before I took this job, that there's a lot more to it than that. With a city our size, which is we're now over 70,000, there are issues ranging from Washington to Austin, and I find myself more and more having to make trips to Washington, to make trips to Austin, to talk to our legislators about things they can help us with, and try to talk them out of things that will hurt us as a city.
You got it.
There are just many more regional issues, regional transportation issues that we're attempting to get funding, for instance, for finishing the Grand Parkway from the Hartman Bridge out to Chambers County, because that's directly tied into economic development to help us take advantage of Bayport. There are emergency management issues, which we of course saw with the hurricane last year, in trying to keep our folks safe, now trying to help our folks rebuild. It's a pretty complex job. It's much more involved than I thought it was, and it takes a lot more time.
I guess one way I could describe it is that you definitely are the focal point of Baytown on all those matters.
That seems to be the case. That seems to be the case.
They like to. It's easy to pronounce mayor,
Yes, easy to find us in the phone book too.
Yeah, right. Well, while we're talking about that, what are some of the duties that you have enjoyed, and maybe some of them maybe you haven't really cared for very much?
Okay. Well, I'll do the don't care for one first.
Okay.
I hate campaigning.
Oh, yes,
I really hate campaigning for office. It's just I have to go out and raise money and spend money on campaigning for the office. So that's the least pleasurable part of it. There are a lot of things to like, Pete. I like representing our city. I like bragging on Baytown. I like touting the things that we do well. I was at a Texas Municipal League meeting several weeks ago, and we were in a group with cities of our size and larger, And I was able to, they had some questions about our curbside recycling program because some of them were interested in doing that. And I was able to tell them how well ours was doing and how we set it up. So that's probably the most, and I love being around people. Our citizens are just the best in the world. We have such a diverse city, and so many great social clubs, so many great volunteers. I really enjoy being around our citizens.
And I understand that you want to run for mayor again. Tell me, why do you want to run for mayor again?
My wife asked me that too. I have some more things that I want to accomplish while I'm in office. I want to see our new aquatics facilities completed. We have, of course, a new fire station, new fire academy, both going in that I would like to see completed. I've got some projects that I want us to work on as a city. In, for instance, cleaning up Goose Creek. I know when you were mayor, we worked a lot on trying to get some of the old debris out of Goose Creek and Goose Creek Lake. I'm committed to still try to find a way where we can find an agency willing to take responsibility for all that, all those old pilings and everything, and all the old oil field equipment that we need to get cleaned up. So there are plenty of issues around that I want to continue to be involved in the future.
Mr. Mayor, those were my prepared questions that I had. If you want to ask me any questions? No.
How did you talk me into this? Yeah, that's right.
Hey, well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, very much.
Thank you, Pete. I sure appreciate the time that you've given me.
Thank you very much.